It's May 3rd, 2024. It's 7:41 a.m. I just want to document again. This is evidence that's going against the same entity that's engaged in federal stalking. This is ongoing corroborating evidence, speaking to what I've already exposed. The entity that's engaged in surveillance on the internet, on communication devices, in concert with the people of the state, while they're engaging in what is group stalking. This is a criminal system that I'm exposing. The entity is also engaging what is the removal of evidence. And so I'm going to show you what was removed and the body of evidence that pre-existed my ever coming to LA. And you have the people of the state engaging in the identical phenomenon that is crossing paths with engineered light. The entity has literally removed evidence that was uploaded to the Google Drive folder, multiple videos captured on April 29, 2024. And I also specifically referenced them as I continuously capture documentation. I was referencing the demon that is Tiffany Sherez of 1818 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6, and the demon operating the Universal Waste Systems Incorporated, that vehicle, while he is engaging in what is group stalking. This is the entity that's engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring while providing services at the facilitating venue on behalf and in concert with the state in the specific environment. This was April 29th specifically, where I documented massive impossible light activity in this video. And I even created snippets from the video that I captured at 9:03 a.m. And then I also used that same video to juxtapose with what are the demon possessed and the group stalking conduct by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. And literally this video that I'm capturing now, speaking to the removal of evidence and the ongoing body of evidence that's already shown, not only as what I captured on March 22nd, 2022 by the demons of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, but the ongoing pattern of conduct that's already established. This is evidence speaking to what is the prolonged term in federal prison, not only that Tiffany Sherez is going to serve, but the Los Angeles Police Department, that is the state of California, in other words, are going to serve. And let me be clear, the state of California is not only the Los Angeles Police Department. This is speaking to those that are going to federal prison affiliated with the courts: Thomas Garza, those engaging in what is kidnapping, Lisa Rogan, right? Kimberly Appaloo, Kyle Brody. Okay, you have the entity that's engaged, the state of California, is acting directly via this corrupt law enforcement agency, which represents the state, stalking, engaging in surveillance, engaging in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, and this entity removed evidence. So I want to show you April 29th. This is the Google Drive. I uploaded all of my evidence onto the Google Drive. The entity is engaged in real-time surveillance on the venue of the internet with communication devices, which is what I've referenced, Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. And on video, at 9:03 a.m. on April 29th, the entity is captured in the specific environment where the light source is hovering over me. I'm capturing it in still images. This is the light source over me while I'm standing in front of my leasing office at 9:03 a.m. This is uploaded successfully to the Google Drive. This is evidence that remains. This is a snippet video. You've got the _1 because I took the video that I captured at 9:03 in the morning. And from this long video, I took out what is the portion where you will see just the light activity. This is demonic activity exhibited by Universal Waste. This is what they're doing, which is appearing inside of my apartment at nightfall when they're group stalking and picking up the trash receptacles, amplified audible activity, relevant positioning, light activity. Light activity is moving inside of my apartment at nightfall. This is in the dark, and that demonic light activity is appearing inside of my apartment while they are beneath my apartment. I'm on the 3rd floor, and light activity is moving across my ceiling on my walls while they are in the parking lot driving in and out of the venue. They're engaging in this terrorism that I'm showing you under the light source during the day. It's occurring also when they're arriving at nightfall in the middle of the night. That's the sex offense that same entity representing the people of the state are engaging in. And this timestamp video at 2024-04-29, not 0903, this video right here, this is a part of what was a larger video that was captured, including Tiffany Sherez. I want to point something out to you. In this video, hold on, and there is an image that I have where you will see, here we go. At 9:03 and 22 seconds, you can see right here the white Telluride. Tiffany Sherez's vehicle is located right there, and she remains present. And I want to speak to what is the crossing of path conduct that I captured and video, and I made time snippets, meaning from the video that I capturing the entirety of the pattern of conduct as I'm standing in the parking lot at 9:03. I took multiple videos, smaller videos showing the light activity demonstrated by Universal Waste, which is this one with the _1, one with Tiffany Sherez, which was had the _3 because the original one There was another video that I took of Universal Waste as they are in the parking lot going in reverse. Engineered light is moving all across the parking lot. That's another video that's been removed from the folder. And then there's the video where Tiffany Sherez is crossing path in the parking lot, and engineered light is moving behind me across building 1810, 1812, and 1814 in the shade. And this is evidence that I'm also referencing as I'm continuously documenting throughout the day, and for the next couple of days, I'm always referencing this video. This video has been removed from this folder that occurred on April 29, 2024 on Monday. And I want to make sure that I document this. This is evidence not of the fact that it didn't happen. This is evidence of what is the entity that's group stalking 24 times yesterday in helicopter in plain sight. Clearly has no problem being captured engaging in what is open stalking. They're not protecting the entity. Also, the entity's pattern of conduct, the people of the state group stalking through the presence of this engineer light, which you see inside of my private space and inside of my workspace, is ongoing corroborating evidence the target individual does not have to make anything up. I've also captured the people of the state by the masses engaging in what the demonic behavior that Tiffany Sherez exhibited and what Universal Waste exhibited. And I also documented inside of my private space, the stationary light inside of my apartment while Universal Waste was, I've already captured this. I'm capturing what is the removal of the evidence from my Google Drive on the venue of the internet via communication devices. This same entity, in other words, the sex offender that's placing you under surveillance, that is stalking you, that is kidnapping you, that is criminally defaming you, that is making up information regarding your mental health while they are engaging what are psychotic methods, psychopath, sex offending stalkers, making up information regarding your mental health. And they do so because they're in the position as the government in those positions to engage in what is literally exercising fictitious authority. They're monitoring you inside of the facility where they're making up information about your mental health. That's the significance of what this entity is engaging in. That entity that's engaged in the pattern of conduct, sitting in the courts, making up the names of district attorneys, making up information and charges in concert with the entity that are the people of the state that are stalking you like Tiffany Sherez and Universal Waste are. That's the entirety of the entity that's acting together to silence you, to defame you, to kidnap you, and terrorize you together, and sexually offend and violate you. That is the entity that is removing evidence that you are capturing about its criminal system. And the removal of the evidence is in every way not establishing that it didn't happen. This is evidence of the federal stalking on the venue of the internet in violation of Title 18 that I have already established within the pattern of conduct. The group stalking conduct that is already fully established beyond a reasonable doubt as well is also the proof of federal stalking on the venue of the internet. You have what is beyond a coincidence while the entity is engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, while I'm on my communication devices, while I'm in operation of my communication devices on the internet, happen to be engaged in what is documenting the entity in any way, the entity engaging in what are not only, again, the group stalking conduct, but also with the criminal intent to obstruct justice, to threaten you, to intimidate you, to distract you, even to stop you from talking about what you're talking about, removing the evidence. And in this video that's captured at 9:03 a.m., this is the very evidence that's showing the demonic possession of Tiffany Sherez, who's driving a white Telluride. Her license plate is recited. The impossible light activity is appearing not only on the ground while she drives by me, which is terrorism, but it appears behind me. This is a demon that's crossing path, engaging in wizardry conduct with light, which is the demon possession that's exhibited outwardly while she's stalking me in concert with LAPD, okay? That's the state of California, and the light source is over me at 9:03 a.m. And in that video, I also go into the analysis of what's not the sun over me at the same time at 101 South Main Street in Pomona, California, where you're looking at the same demonic light. And this is why this evidence is also removed. Let me be clear. As I'm creating this video showing what is the absence of that evidence, which I fully captured, because this impossible light activity at 9:03, this is only about 15 seconds long, I believe. Let me open this video up. It's about 15 seconds long. This is a part of what was a longer video that included the direct evidence against the whole entity. But while Universal Waste is captured, they kept that video there. The entity has some sort of false notion that Universal Waste is able to shoulder a prosecution, and that it's somehow not revealing up to the entirety of the entity, and that it's protecting demons such as Tiffany Sherez. It's not. None of that is the case at all whatsoever. The entity is acting as one. Universal Waste is as criminal. You have what is the ability to drain the pockets of universal waste. You have what is equally subject to federal prison, the driver of that vehicle. You have what is equally to be published as a criminal and a sex offender engaged in state surveillance, the name of that driver and the company. And Tiffany Sherez, who's in relevant position, also documented, and the entity removed that evidence. That's speaking to what is an enhancement of time in federal prison to Tiffany Sherez. That's the threat to the life of the targeted individual, who, by the way, Tiffany Sherez documented engaging in what is criminal defamation, engaging in what is making up information while she is monitoring me inside of the private space. What Stephanie Ortiz engaged in on April 29, 2022 is what Tiffany Sherez, a demon, group stalking in the specific environment, replete with what is engineered light appearing across buildings, the exact same conduct that Universal Waste engaged in, which this entity kept that evidence there and removed the criminal conduct and the demonic possession, the evidence of that, from my folder on the venue of the internet, which is speaking to federal stalking violation of Title 18. That is direct evidence speaking to what is time in federal prison that Tiffany Sherez is going to serve. She is threatening the life of somebody while the entity removes that evidence about that particular third party who was acting on behalf of the entity. That same entity that's stalking in a helicopter 24 times yesterday on May 2nd, 2024, acting in concert with commercial actors such as Amazon Prime. While they are in the specific environment, by the way, this evidence at 9:03 a.m. under the light source, Amazon Prime is group stalking at the same property at 6:27 p.m. That's evidence of the pattern of conduct. That's not the natural environment. That's how you are understanding what is also this entity that's removing evidence from what they are monitoring. This is Title 18 criminal activity, which is also at the same time exposing their violation of additional federal policies, having access and witnessing, distributing, sharing, having knowledge of, which is unlawful under federal policy, the private information of those recipients of federal housing benefits, those applying for federal housing benefits. That personal information is also being shared and crossing the eyes of criminally while they're engaging in monitoring me and on the venue of the internet. This is occurring in the workplace, which I've already documented. And the employees of speaker companies, the property management company itself, not only prosecuted for engaging in the pattern of conduct, but also prosecuted for simultaneously violating federal housing, federal policies regarding the Federal Housing Benefits Program, HUD policies. As I pointed out and uploaded just as a sample, they're simultaneously being prosecuted for that while they're engaging what is monitoring on the venue of the internet, going to the extent of removing evidence from my folder. This is also speaking to what exactly it's conclusive evidence. You're removing evidence because it is directly pivotal with regard to exposing them as demons. Understand that. And for some reason, they have the false idea that leaving the evidence for Universal Waste, even if they remove that, I want to be clear, my direct testimony in federal court is sufficient to prosecute the state of California. Why? Because this entity engaged in kidnapping. When you are kidnapping the target individual, that is taking and maintaining custody, destroying, which this entity did all of the above, the evidence, the documentation of the target individual, you are not going to have to rely on the documentation to independently establish the pattern of conduct by the state. Not only do I have the evidence, I had the evidence before I came to Los Angeles. I had the evidence of Tiffany Sherez's demon possession before I came to Los Angeles. She demonstrated it on video, and then this entity deleted it from my folder. Understand that. She's going to federal prison even longer for that. It's not removal of the evidence. No one is forgetting. You hear me referencing it in my videos. The entity is removing evidence. And let me be clear, they're engaged in an ongoing pattern of obstruction of justice. This is speaking to exactly what I have stated. The Los Angeles Police Department, which represents the state of California, hovering outside of my bedroom window at 5 a.m, all right, and staying there while in a helicopter, okay? This is exactly what they're doing while my panties are down. They're violent sex offenders consumed with what I am doing inside of my private space. This is the prosecution for the sex offense while they're hovering in a helicopter outside of my window, amplifying at that distance. It's amplified in sound inside of my apartment, speaking to the criminal engagement in the element of monitoring audible activity, relevant positioning, stalking in the path, while they're also monitoring the fact, meaning aware of the fact that they're being documented and they're still engaging in it in plain sight. That's the entity that is threatening your life, kidnapping you, making up information about you, and then making up information about your mental health while they are the psychopaths, stalking you in plain sight, engaging in what is wizardry with light while they're looking to the left and the right like you see Carmen Carreto engaging in while the entity is stalking in helicopter also at the same venue. Okay, that's after 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. And the light source is early as 7 o'clock in the morning. The entity has a light source at the same address, out the bedroom window after 6 p.m., out of my living room window as early as 6:45 in the morning. This is the venue where Tiffany Sherez is exhibiting demon possession, stalking somebody, engaging in what is America's version of terrorism, because the state of California is practicing demonic activity, which is what group stalking is, in concert with the people. And that entity that's engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet is deleting, removing evidence of that demon possession, of that criminal conduct, of that concerted criminal activity. And that's the significance of that. And that's exactly what Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is documenting. While I capture that video, while you're looking at Universal Way's crossing path at 9:03 in the morning, in the specific environment, where that's not possibly the sun over them, while I'm showing you the light source that's over me at 9:03 in the morning on March 22nd, 2022. That's the same time of year, while the entity is maintaining a light source over me, and you're witnessing what is the demonic behavioral pattern. This is the evidence that they're seeking to remove. They are removing the demon possession of the people. Say they're not protecting them. Every single last person at Alvarado Gardens is demon possessed. This is the significance of that system. And they are engaging in what is criminal obstruction of justice. These are the demons of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, while the light source that's not over building 1810, while Universal Waste is group stalking and engineered light, like you see all in the shade, that's the light source over me. Those are the demons of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. That's what I'm documenting at the same time, while Universal Waste is crossing path and engineered light is swiping all across, while these demons are opening up their vehicle doors under what is the light source that's hovering over me at 101 South Main Street in Pomona, California, where I came from, Ontario, not living in LA, where there is no sunrise at the hillside, where the entity is also rising and setting now that I'm in Los Angeles. You have what is on this day coming from Ontario on Route 61 going westbound on Hope Boulevard, arriving and remaining over me while I'm documenting the Pomona Police Department and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department exhibiting their demon possession while they're opening and closing doors. That's what Tiffany Sherez is engaging in while she's driving by me. An engineer light is moving up behind my person, which I capture on video, and this entity deleted it. It's not protecting the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. They are demons engaging in the same group stalking and federal stalking on the venue of the internet. They are the same demons acting in concert with Tiffany Sherez, who are acting in concert as an entity. Every single last person engaging in group stalking that I identify by name, social security number, image, on video, license plate, they're all demons. And you are not protecting that entity while they remove that evidence from my folder. Understand that. This is the same time of year. This is demonic activity that the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department are engaging in under the light source at the same exact time at 9:03 in the morning. Two different addresses, not coexisting. And you also have what is the unilateral demonstration of, first of all, demon possession and engagement in the criminal pattern of conduct. Stalking in the path with engineered light under the light source that's hovering over me in Pomona, which is where I'm at on this day on March 22nd, same time of year. That's the P.O.C. That's the outward demonstration of demon possession. That's the criminal system that's underway by the state of California. And this entity that is engaging in what is monitoring on the venue of the internet is removing my evidence from the off of the internet from my Google Drive. And that's what I want to make sure that I document and that you understand. All right, that's an unlawful threat to the life of the target individual. That's what the Los Angeles Police Department is providing evidence of while they're stalking me 24 times as a matter of documentation. And they know that they're being documented and they're engaging in this criminal system in concert together in the specific environment. This is demonic. Ty Lee is crossing path while the entity is crossing path in a vehicle, and engineer light moves all across the walls right there, and they're doing it under what is the light source that's over me at 9:03 a.m., which is what you see. They removed that video that showed the wealth of demonic activity, which is terrorism via directed light, and they do so with knowledge of everything that I'm documenting. They know very well. When I zoomed in on them this morning at 5 in the morning, they start moving. They were staying right there, knowing that I wasn't honed in on them. You can hear them, though. That's the evidence. This is what is psychotic about the demon possessed. That is LAPD. Stop making TV shows about them. Stop referencing them in movies as though they are some model figure. They're demons and they're infected and they're going to be disbanded and they're going to federal prison. They are hostile to your freedom in this country. They're hostile to those who do not serve Satan. They're murdering people in this country. They're kidnapping them and criminally defaming them for purposes of keeping silent what they're engaging in. And I'm exposing it. And I'm also going to expose the ways that they try to silence you. That's a threat to your life. It's a public safety concern. Tiffany Sherez is going to federal prison for even longer. Let me be clear. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison for what Tiffany Sherez is engaging in here. While she's a part of the same entity, and this same entity is deleting evidence of that. That's an unlawful threat that Tracy Banks is engaging in. Understand, it's an entity. It's not an individual. While you want to try to remove evidence of one person, that entire entity is removing evidence of that concerted conduct, that criminal system that the government is engaging in. Everybody's suffering the consequences for that. It's 8 a.m. The entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct. All right, you already are aware of what is the entity doing, raising a fake sun in alignment to me in the morning and setting it in alignment to me in the evening. And no matter what time of day that the entity engages in what is unveiling its light source, because that's exactly what the entity did at 12 o'clock in the afternoon while I'm laughing at LAPD demons that are stalking me obsessively in helicopter. And as I'm laughing at them, they fly over my head and I capture that on video. And what do you go from? Immediately it goes from what is a cloudy day to the light source being right over my head. You are in no way distracted by that. You will never forget what is the light source that's remaining over me for the entirety of a day at one address. That entity that is demon possessed, stalking by the masses, every single last person on all of these streets, on all of the hills, they're all engaged. This is a population engaged in state surveillance, and this population is removing evidence of its criminal system. It is not removing evidence of what is demon possession. It's already been demonstrated. It is not removing evidence of group stalking. It has already been demonstrated. What you are witnessing is what is the conclusive evidence of federal stalking in the ways in which that I have already laid out, and that ongoing system of obstruction of justice, which is also underway in the courts in the state of California, in the civil and criminal courts, as I've also documented. That's going toward the prosecution of the whole entity. That is, again, intolerable levels of corruption and seeking to obstruct justice. Intolerable. All right, this is P.O.C. It's currently, again, 8:02 a.m. on May 3rd, 2024, and I wanted to capture specific documentation of that removal of that evidence. But again, even absent the removal, because I have already established the pattern of conduct for a term of years, and the entity is to date seeking to conceal. You can't conceal it. It's too late. The fact that these are not just criminals, it's not just public corruption. This is the demon-possessed population. You can't hide any of that. And removing the evidence, I'm just going to document that. And also remind you about the fact that I've already demonstrated that these are demons engaging in group stalking. This is P.O.C.